He left our kids alone for a liquor run. Now I am questioning everything. I am a 28-year-old female, married to a 34-year-old male, for 8 years. And we have 2 kids, ages 5 and almost 4, with 1 more on the way in the summer. I was feeling pretty confident in our life together, until I discovered a receipt for a liquor purchase that my husband made at around 8:09 in the evening on Saturday. I had stayed at my mom's place that night for a little girl's getaway, so he was home with the kids. Because I had no alerts on our shared phone location, I am convinced he left his phone behind, probably to avoid detection. It alarmed me that he could sneak out, even briefly, while our kids were sleeping. He has struggled with alcohol in the past, though he only drinks occasionally now, so I was taken aback by this secretive behavior. When I confronted him, he tried to deny it until I presented the date and time from the receipt. Then he admitted that he felt he was spiraling again. I am beyond shocked that he would risk leaving our children alone, even for a short minute. My trust in him has been completely shaken, and I am not sure how to hold him accountable. I thought we were in a good place. I am 23 weeks pregnant, and we have 2 healthy kids, so I assumed our marriage was solid and that he was a loving father. Now, I am left questioning everything. Do I confront him harder about his issues, or do I seek support from family, friends, or even professional counseling? All I know is I cannot take this lying down. I feel hurt, betrayed, and worried about our future. I just want to protect our children, keep myself sane, and figure out my next steps as calmly as possible. A story from dramatic_145. This is so painful for the OP, and it is normal for her to feel hurt and shaken. She trusted that her husband would be completely focused on the kids, but now she is left coping with his sudden relapse. Sometimes acknowledging how scary it feels is the first step toward healing.
Now, hold on. Maybe the husband just had a lapse in judgment. People do dumb things sometimes, and he might simply have panicked about his cravings. It is not right, but maybe the OP should grill him a bit more. Perhaps there is a deeper reason he felt compelled to leave so secretly.
I cannot help but picture the OP's husband sneaking out like some action star, except this time it was for booze instead of an epic mission. Sure, it is serious, but holy moly, talk about cringe. If he wants a dramatic plot twist, maybe he should try therapy instead of late-night liquor runs.
Here is a take. Maybe he intended this grand secret stunt just to see if he could pull it off. That does not make him a monster. Yet, the OP has every right to feel betrayed. But does anyone wonder if he is actually crying out for help, instead of just craving a beverage?
She never paid for the family photos. Should I gift them for her birthday? I am a 42-year-old female, and my partner, a 45-year-old male, is a professional photographer with more than 10 years of experience. Recently, my friend, a 40-year-old female, requested a family photo shoot. She specifically wanted a location where certain flowers were in bloom. So we spent extra time scoping out the perfect spot. The session lasted almost 2 hours, and my partner even edited several photos afterward to make them truly special. Typically, that service costs $350, but we never stated a fee because I assumed she would at least offer to compensate us or send a thank you. Instead, I got radio silence from her end, which felt seriously off, especially since we have done similar shoots as gifts in the past for special occasions like her child's birthday. Her husband is a contractor, and I recall him charging us full price without any discount or friendly rate for work on our place, so it stings that the courtesy is not mutual. Now her birthday is about to roll around. I have already chipped in for her cake and plan to help with her birthday meal too. She is not thrilled because one of her planned birthday activities fell through, so she is a bit down. I considered gifting her the photo shoot since it was never officially compensated, but it also feels odd, granting something she never thanked us for. Ultimately, I decided I would not mention it in her birthday card and would simply give her a small gift I already had. If she wants another shoot in the future, we will be absolutely clear about pricing, with no more confusion or unspoken assumptions. All I really wanted was a little gratitude. A story from Smooth-Scientist-1221.
I feel like the OP put her heart into that session, so it is understandable she wants her friend to at least say thanks. Everyone deserves a little appreciation for their work. The huge effort that she and her partner made should not go unnoticed. I hope they find a calm solution.
Maybe the OP needs to hold herself accountable here. If she never set a clear price, her friend might have assumed it was all fair game. Still, a thank you would have been polite. Next time, she should lay down the rules before snapping a single photo. Then see what happens.
Wow, the OP basically rolled out a deluxe photo session for free, and her friend just vanished on the gratitude? That is like trying on every outfit in the store and ditching the clerk. She might need to slap a big sign that says payment required next time. That would be epic.
Look, if the OP wants to keep it cool, she can handle it like a boss next time, with an upfront fee. Could be a misunderstanding, or maybe her friend is taking advantage. Either way, no invoice means no payment. Tell them the price from the start, then watch how people react.
My GF is amazing, but our bedroom life is a total letdown. I have been dating my girlfriend, who is a 21-year-old female, for 10 months now, and even though she is sweet, thoughtful, and adores me, our intimacy is driving me up the wall. I am a 23-year-old male, and once we step into the bedroom, I feel like I carry all the weight. She rarely bothers to initiate, and I am almost always the one putting in all the effort. On the rare occasion she does go down on me, it lasts only a couple of minutes, and I hate to say it, but it is by far the worst experience I've had. She just lies there most of the time like a complete pillow princess. And if we try missionary, she claims it hurts, while doggy is somehow fine. Each session tends to start with me going down on her for around 10 minutes, and then she turns around to finish herself off with her vibrator, practically leaving me in the dust. I have mentioned more than once how neglected I feel. No matter how many times I bring up my desire for her to meet me halfway, it is like my words do not register. She does treat me well outside the bedroom, taking me out, showing me affection, and being overall caring. But the bedroom disappointment is getting impossible to ignore. I do not want to call it quits over this, yet it is becoming a major wedge. I have even suggested ways to spice things up, hoping she might see my side, but nothing has changed. I keep wondering if maybe I am being too picky, but a relationship should be a two-way street in every sense, especially when it comes to physical connection. It is disheartening to feel so irrelevant in something that matters so much to me. A story from Re-Erit.
The OP sounds truly discouraged, and one can sense he has tried to communicate his feelings multiple times. The girlfriend seems to have no clue how her inaction affects him. Sometimes all it takes is recognizing how hurt he is. She may just need more guidance and empathy.
Maybe this is all about unrealized expectations. Sure, the girlfriend might be slacking, but the OP may be placing too much pressure on her. What if his frustrations blind him from simpler fixes? It is easy to point fingers, but both sides could be stuck in unspoken compromises.
Oh my goodness, it sounds like the OP is doing a personal triathlon just to get some mutual action. That pillow princess routine is hilarious and frustrating all at once. Hopefully the girlfriend snaps out of this one-sided funk because right now it is basically the OP hosting a solo show.
I am wondering if the pillow princess thing is her hidden power move. Like, maybe she is deliberately keeping the OP chasing, fueled by frustration. Not everyone wants to believe that, but it might be her tactic. If so, the OP should call her out, shake things up, and see what happens.
Am I the jerk for saying no to our moms on our nearly free Cabo trip? I am getting married this August and feeling stressed as fudge with all the planning. My fiancé travels for work, so he racked up enough Hilton points for 3 free nights at a fancy resort in Cabo. Because he is a Diamond member, we scored a massive 2-bedroom villa that is over 2,500 square feet, and my dad is a flight attendant who can get me super cheap flights. In total, we are only shelling out around $500 for this unbelievable trip. Lately, both our moms, 60, and his is 70, have been dropping hints that they want to tag along. They are divorced and widowed, and we adore them, but they never stop chatting about wedding details. My fiancé and I just want some time to unwind, lounge around, maybe swim naked, and not be glued to endless bridal talk. I feel guilty about saying no, since both our moms keep talking about how jealous they are. But my fiancé is really firm, and I get it. He does not want our entire getaway derailed by more wedding chatter. It is hard though, because I also think it could be a cool bonding time, just not the kind of carefree vacation we originally planned. I keep reminding myself that this trip is not even our honeymoon. We are flying out this week to use up those free Hilton nights before they expire. And we will have a proper honeymoon after the wedding. So here I am, torn between feeling like a total jerk and wondering if we are within our rights to keep this trip low-key. In the end, I am leaning towards saying no to the moms, but the guilt is definitely piling on my shoulders. A story from DuckyDoo102.
I understand the OP's longing for a private breather. It is not selfish to want a peaceful pause before the big day. She believes the moms simply crave connection, but it is also important for these two lovebirds to enjoy a guilt-free retreat. Everyone deserves a little serenity now and then.
I want to know who declared that parents cannot get wild too. Maybe the OP and fiancé should bring them along to spice things up, right? Or does that risk a non-stop wedding talk fest? He loves stirring that pot, but hey, maybe it would be a memorable adventure.
I think pictures of mom sipping coconut cocktails while the OP is diving into a skinny dip would be all kinds of hilarious. Sure, it might be a hoot, but she gets why the OP wants that carefree vibe. Life is short. Sometimes it is all about the uncluttered fun.
I wonder why the fiancé's big no is the final word. Could it be that hiding from wedding talk hints at deeper issues? The OP might regret shutting the door on some next-level adult bonding. Or maybe they will dodge enough bridal chatter to kick back in peace. Who knows?
I just discovered my partner's hidden 3-year affair from a decade ago. I am a 41-year-old male who has been with my partner, a 41-year-old female, for 17 years ago. About 6 months ago, I discovered that she carried on a 3-year affair with a coworker 10 years ago. She confessed only after I found her old journal, where she wrote passionately about falling in love with him from the moment she met him. She even described how she was determined to chase him, despite his wedding ring. I was stunned because she had always reassured me that he was just a friend. Even after pictures emerged in May of 2015, she only admitted to one kiss. But her journal revealed daily texts, frequent lunches, and late nights spent together until the coworker decided to stay with his wife. For months afterward, she kept trying to lure him back, bragging in a Snapchat saved from 2017 that this fling boosted her self-worth. Then she finally confessed it was more than just a kiss. Today we have a 2-year-old son, who is my entire world, so I am struggling to keep our family together. We are seeing a counselor, and she seems genuinely remorseful now, offering details she never shared before. I do feel a renewed sense of love from her, yet I cannot purge the ugly recollections of her secrets and betrayal. I keep asking myself whether I can move forward and trust her again, because she once acted like she did not care how deeply her lies cut me. Maybe I am doing this for our child, or maybe I still love her despite everything. Either way, I feel lost. I'm sure if this marriage will ever recover from her hidden past. A story from Defiant-Raisin-3221.
The OP has every right to feel shattered by the partner's deception, especially with such intense emotional details uncovered. The partner's remorse appears sincere now, and that glimmer of renewed love might be a stepping stone toward healing. Trust can flourish when honest communication replaces hidden resentments, one heartfelt moment at a time.
In my eyes, the partner only came clean after the OP found out through that old journal, which screams damage control. Maybe the coworker scenario made her feel invincible. But illusions crumble. If she truly regrets it, she should prove it, not just talk about it. Crank up the drama and see what emerges.
Did you catch those journal entries where she was starry-eyed over the coworker? Who writes that stuff down and leaves it lying around? That is like sneaking cake and leaving the crumbs everywhere. The OP's heartbreak is real, sure, but this fiasco feels like a soap opera just begging for prime time.
Alright, let us spin this. The partner put in 3 years of extracurricular romance, got cut off, then acted like it was a minor slip. That is bold. Maybe the coworker's refusal stunned more than guilt. Either way, the OP deserves more than a late apology. Emotional games demand real accountability.
When my sister committed suicide, I remember coming home from shopping and seeing that note on the counter, which made my heart drop before I even read it. She had left it for me, saying where she was and how much she loved me, so of course I bolted outside screaming her name, like a wild person. Our parents were not around. My father was off on vacation with his girlfriend, and my mother was about 30 minutes away at her place, so I was all alone. I raced to that shed she mentioned and dug through every corner until I found her. That moment still feels like something out of a nightmare. I apparently called my mom first, shouting that my sister had just taken her own life, and she nearly refused to believe me. Then I dialed 911. A bunch of emergency responders showed up, tried everything, then rushed her to the hospital. I still hoped against hope that they could bring her back. They did restart her heart at one point, but they kept losing any sign of stability. The doctors said her brain was probably too far gone, and we all stood there, overwhelmed and heartbroken, as they did compressions one last time. She was a 21-year-old and had been so normal, right up until that day, packing to go back to college, hitting the gym, treating us to Chinese takeout. I turned 18 not long ago, and I honestly do not know how to keep living when she is not here. Therapy has been okay, but I am still reeling with grief. She was like a kid at heart, always collecting shells or crocheting. I hate feeling so alone, but sharing this story lifts a bit of that agony. I am clinging to the good memories, the beach days, the crafts, the silly routines with iced coffee, anything to remember her warmth. A story from Lucky_B06.
I see the OP struggling with an unimaginable loss, and my heart goes out to that entire family. I want to wrap them in a big comforting hug and reassure them that it is okay to cry and grieve. I believe therapy might help them find small bits of solace each day.
I think there is more going on behind the scenes than anyone has realized. Maybe the OP's sister felt unseen pressures that nobody recognized. I am not accusing anyone, but I want folks to question if the sister's outward normalcy was masking inner turmoil.
I cannot resist cracking a little humor in the midst of heartbreak, hoping to give everyone something to smile about. I would joke about rummaging through that shed and nearly busting down doors, just to add a speck of levity and remind folks that laughter can spark healing.
I would poke back in and say, perhaps the OP should consider if their family dynamic contributed. Maybe the parents' divorce or the father's vacation timing played a role in this tragedy. I am not tossing blame, just hoping to inspire deeper thought.
Did I overdo it telling my ex and my husband's toxic family to fudge off after they found out I am pregnant? I am a 29-year-old female who once dated a 31-year-old male who cheated on me. I ended it decisively, even though he kept begging me to forgive him. Boundaries have always been important to me, so once a cheater, always a cheater in my book. A couple of years later, I met my now husband, a 32-year-old male, who also endured betrayal. His own brother had been with his girlfriend, and their parents wanted him to simply accept it. That hurt drove him to cut them all off. Then word got back at him. Out that I am pregnant with our first baby, and suddenly my ex and my husband's family reappeared. My ex claimed he still loved me and would gladly be a stepdad to my child, which was outrageous. My husband's mother and brother also wrote him insisting they missed him now that a baby was around. I was furious. I told them all to fudge off and not contact us again. It might have been harsh, but watching my husband cry after his brother tried to reconnect sparked my anger. These people had years to mend things, but only came knocking once I announced my pregnancy. Sure, I used strong words and made it clear they would never be part of our baby's life. My husband agreed with me. Still, a few people said I went too far. Maybe I was over the top, but I truly believe no toxic person should get a second chance simply because there is a baby on the way. A story from throwaway_4839920.
She spoke from her soul to protect her peace experiences. The heartbreak she survived shaped her fierce loyalty, and it shows she will not let anyone trample her trust again. Maybe she felt nobody else would defend her husband, so she bravely defended him first. Her words come from deep emotion.
Sure, the OP's ex messed up, but could the family have had reasons worth hearing? Maybe she closed the door too hard and missed some tea. Then again, her scorching response definitely shook things up. Stoking some chaos can reveal truths. It is spicy, but was it really necessary?
Oh my gosh! The family tried to swan on back when they heard baby news. The ex offering to play stepdad is downright sitcom material. Good on her for slamming that door. If she let them in, can you imagine the holiday fiasco? She dodged a bullet for sure.
Challenge alert. What if the OP gave the ex 5 minutes to see if there was a speck of closure to be had? That might spark more drama, which is always interesting. She came out blazing, but maybe the family had one tiny piece of truth to reveal.
Leaving without warning. Am I the jerk? I am a 26-year-old woman who finally decided I could not take the stress and disrespect anymore. My boyfriend, a 31-year-old man I will call Mike, seemed more devoted to his sharp-tongued older sister and his demanding mother than my well-being. His sister, a 37-year-old woman, turned hostile when I suggested a simple distraction like part-time work to help her cope with her divorce. She and Mike started acting like I was the enemy. He would not defend me against her rudeness, yet I was expected to pay for groceries and bills while getting no real support in return. Then came the last straw. Mike accused me of being controlling when I asked him to ease off the drinking so we would not argue, and he dismissed my worries about my heart condition whenever his family drama spiked my anxiety. His mother even hinted that I would never rank as a priority. For 3 months, I slept in the guest room, politely declining every push from him to rekindle our physical spark. I quietly searched for a new place. Moved out the moment he left for his morning workout, then texted him I was gone. He called me selfish and tried switching between apologies and insults, but I was determined to maintain my composure and protect my peace. He kept harping on my supposed coldness, yet seemed blind to how his behavior had drained the life out of me. I have blocked him and his family on social media and plan to change my phone number. I want to focus on my health and rebuild my life, without wondering if it makes me a jerk for leaving without saying a word. Right now, I feel more relieved than guilty, and I just hope I can finally breathe freely on my own. A story from choice_evidence1983.
The OP clearly needed someone in her corner, and it is heartbreaking that she felt so torn down by her partner and his family. She gave so much of herself, financially and emotionally, and all she got back was more pressure. You can sense how drained she was and how necessary her exit became.
Maybe the OP was simply too nice for too long. I get that Mike and his sister might see her as a soft target, but seriously, let us consider the possibility that her leaving like that took everyone by surprise. It is a gutsy move, and perhaps it was precisely what Mike needed as a wake-up call.
I picture Mike's face when he came home, and all that was left was a note. If this were a comedy special, the punchline would be that people who ignore warnings eventually get the biggest shock of their life. The OP's grand exit was the perfect mic drop to end the show.
It is easy to label him the villain, but what if Mike felt misunderstood and shoved his frustrations onto the OP? Sure, it was toxic, but that does not necessarily mean he is hopeless. Let us just say this might be the jolt he needs to confront his own issues.
Refusing another car for my accident-prone stepdaughter? Am I the jerk? I have a stepdaughter who, bless her heart, has never really gotten the hang of driving. Ever since she was 16, she has had trouble. From hard stops and leaving her car, unlocked to sliding on ice and hitting someone else's vehicle. I initially told her I would chip in on her first car, as long as she handled the bills and treated it responsibly. But after multiple accidents, I am starting to think helping her pay for another set of wheels might just encourage more bad habits. A few weeks ago, she got into yet another major crash when a ladder fell off someone's truck on the highway, and her car was completely totaled. Luckily, she is recovering from whiplash, a shoulder injury, and some scrapes, but once she was back home, she asked for my help buying another car. Now, she is currently making $21 an hour working as a medical assistant, and lives about 1.5 miles from campus, 0.25 miles from the grocery store, and 4 miles from her job. So, to me, it seems she can manage by walking, using ride shares, or asking friends for lifts until she saves enough on her own. My husband, on the other hand, thinks we should foot the cost and let her pay us back. I am worried about breaking our original rule. Once they get that first car, help they are on their own for the next one. At this point, my family is split, and I am left wondering if I am being too harsh or simply holding the line on accountability. Am I the jerk? A story from Violinist Mountain 246.
I see the OP's dilemma. It is tough watching someone you love struggle, especially when you remember those accidents and worry for her safety. The OP is not unreasonable by setting firm boundaries. Life lessons can be rocky, but guiding her stepdaughter toward independence might help her grow.
I wonder if the OP is actually protecting her stepdaughter or just punishing her. Maybe she should hand her the keys and let her crash course continue. Sure, it is risky, but pushing her to solve her own jams might either toughen her up or reveal deeper issues.
I think this story is a total riot. The stepdaughter is practically collecting car crash stories like trophies. And now she wants another ride on the OP's dime. That is next level bold. Maybe walking a few miles will keep her out of new accidents, at least for now.
I say the OP should pony up. Why stop now? If the stepdaughter wrecks another ride, that will prove she needs a reality check. Not a fancy payout, but there is a thrill in adversity. I bet she will learn more from messed up scenarios than from taking the bus.
I stopped letting my parents track my phone. Am I the jerk? I am a 24-year-old female who lives in another state from my parents, and ever since I was about 12, they have used to Find My Friends application on my iPhone to monitor my whereabouts. When I got married, my husband found it odd that they kept tracking me, but I shrugged it off, thinking they just wanted to ensure I was safe. Lately, though, my younger brother, who is 21, ticked me off that my parents were judging my moves based on my location. That was the last straw for me. I turned off their access, figuring it was about time for me to have some privacy. Well, all ducking chaos broke loose. My parents claimed they only checked my location for comfort and safety, but their snooping felt too invasive. My father retaliated by yanking my access to all the streaming services he pays for. No big deal, but he also threatened to remove my brother from the house internet for tattling. It was like a whole meltdown. They acted as if my shutting off location tracking meant I wanted them permanently out of my life, which is absolutely not the case. I just did not appreciate them using my location to criticize me. Besides, I can pay for my own subscription services, so that did not hurt me too much, but the principle behind it stings. In the end, I feel mixed. Part of me wonders if they might have been drawing comfort from knowing I was safe. Yet I still think boundaries are critical, especially now that I am married and living my own life. Thanks to some conversations with others, I realize I am not alone in seeing this as a wide overreach on their part. I love my parents, but I need them to treat me like an adult. A story from DIZ_savvy.
I believe the OP only wants healthy boundaries. Her parents sound well-meaning but overly controlling, and their meltdown over a simple request for privacy comes across as insecure. Honestly, you can see they love her, but it is past time for them to show trust. Everyone needs a little space to breathe.
I see a drama brewing, and keep the pace snappy, to stir up discussion. Who is to say the parents are not the only ones overstepping? Who is to say the OP did not provoke them by yanking access without a heads up? Still, the father's retaliation feels extreme. Playing with streaming accounts and internet is a next-level power move.
I find this showdown hilarious. I can just picture the father's face when he realized he could not spy on the OP's outings anymore. Streaming bans and internet threats are so over the top. Maybe someone should crack a joke, break the tension, and watch sanity return to the house.
I suggest the parents might be acting defensive because they feel powerless. But is the OP truly innocent? Maybe there is more to her story, about brushing them off too quickly. Sure, the father's actions are an overreaction, but sometimes pointing fingers blinds us to our own missteps.
Did I go too far refusing his mayo-filled dish on our second date? I am a 24-year-old single mother of an 8-year-old, and I have long suspected I share my daughter's issues around food, because both of us deal with what is called avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. I can usually manage our limited diets without trouble. But on my second date with this new guy, he cooked a meal using mayonnaise, an ingredient I cannot eat. Not only do I detest the taste, but I also have a pretty serious egg allergy, which I explained on our very first date. When he served the plate, I had to refuse. Then he made a crack about me overcoming my mayonnaise hang-up so my daughter could get over her crap, which rubbed me the wrong way. I snapped back that his food was gross and that he should not talk about my kid like that. He apologized for his rude joke, and I said sorry too. We ended up getting some takeout and parting on seemingly good terms. Later though, he texted me, saying I did not have to be such a jerk about the whole thing, and called my concerns childish. He brushed off the fact that I am actually allergic and insisted that I need to get over my so-called pickiness. Now I am wondering if I was genuinely at fault for not just forcing the food down, even though it could have harmed me. I feel bad about hurting his feelings, but I also think it is basic respect to acknowledge an allergy. So, was I in the wrong, or is it fair to stand my ground about what I can and cannot eat? A story from Smart-Marionberry. 1.
I see that the OP is juggling her own well-being and her daughter's unique needs. Nobody should dismiss allergies or special conditions. I believe the OP deserves compassion and a thoughtful response, not ridicule or demands to just get over it.
I suspect there is more going on with that date. Maybe he was testing the OP or pushing to see how far she would budge. Challenging the OP's choices could be an attempt at control. Still, the OP's refusal might have come across as a little dramatic.
I crack up at how the date tried to bulldoze the OP's obvious allergy and call it childish. That is like demanding someone run a marathon with a broken foot. I would have laughed in his face and demanded better snacks.
I see this fiasco as the date being offended that the OP would not go along with his plan. I think the OP stand triggered a power struggle. Still, maybe we should question everything. Is the guy's reaction insecurity, or did the OP overreact? Tough call, but it keeps the drama flowing.
Am I overreacting about my fiancé's late-night walk with his coworker? I have been engaged to my fiancé for almost 3 years now, and we plan on getting married in June. He occasionally mentions this new coworker at his office, who joined a few months ago, and it bugged me that he seemed to take her recommendations more seriously than some of mine. Recently, he went on a work trip with several colleagues, including her, and texted me around 10 at night saying he was taking a stroll with her around the hotel area. I was startled and told him that going on a late-night walk with another woman felt disrespectful. He got defensive, saying it was just a casual walk and that I was implying something he absolutely did not intend. After a tense phone call, I asked him not to spend one-on-one time with her if possible, and he seemed upset because he felt I was questioning his integrity. I calmed down, apologized for coming off so strong, and tried to let it go. Then I found out they also went out for a lunch and a quick trip to a lake, and I realized my discomfort stemmed from comparing his enthusiasm toward her ideas to how he normally is with me. I confronted him again when he returned home, wanting to emphasize that I trusted him but still felt uneasy. I explained I had been in a controlling relationship in the past and was wary of repeating mistakes. He told me he would cut back on their non-work contact for my peace of mind, though he worried it might punish her socially. Overall, I appreciate that he heard me out, because it helped me feel more secure. I do not think he is cheating, but my stomach still tightens a bit. At least now, I believe we are in a better place, trusting each other while addressing any doubts head-on. A story from Choice_Evidence 1983.
I see how the OP has been trying to move forward from past hurts. The fiancé might not be doing anything shady, but emotional reassurance matters. Sometimes people just need gentle validation to uncover the real issue at hand. A little open dialogue seems to be building stronger trust.
I want to ask why they're all so afraid of a little stroll in the moonlight. Maybe the fiancé deserves a break from the fuss. Or maybe he is tempting fate. Either way, it sure spices things up. If they were truly innocent, then what's the big secret?
I would crack a joke about them needing a paparazzo following their every step. Sure, it feels fishy to see your partner bonding with a new coworker, but hey, it might just be a silly vibe check. Let's keep the flames low unless we see actual sparks of trouble.
I still suspect a hidden twist. If the fiancé is that quick to accommodate, maybe he's too eager, or maybe the OP is just overthinking. Regardless, it's worth poking the topic. What if the coworker's innocence is a perfect cover for something more? Keep your eyes open, folks.
Is my husband telling the truth about that fishy Reddit glitch? I am a 32-year-old female who has been with my husband, a 30-year-old male, for 12 years. Recently, I posted on Reddit for the first time, which led me to revisit my old activity. While scrolling through my profile, I noticed his subreddit. Posts and comments popping up from past interactions, and I got curious enough to check one of his comments. To my surprise, I found a single period he had left under an 18+ not safe for work post, where the original poster offered intimate tapes to anyone who commented. My husband swore up and down that he had never seen that post and blamed some bizarre glitch or a hack, but his login activity looked totally normal. I do not want to be paranoid, but I am not very tech-savvy, and he is the computer whiz in our household. He has never hidden his devices or acted shady, so I initially accepted his explanation. Still, the more I think about it, the less I am convinced. I do not mind if you view adult content. I have never had an issue with that. However, I draw the line at interacting with people in adult content. It all feels too fishy, and I cannot shake the feeling that he might have simply slipped and forgotten to delete that suspicious comment. He says it was a glitch, but now I am left wondering if he has other things to hide. Could it really be a technical error? Or did he accidentally use the wrong Reddit account and get caught? I am trying not to blow this out of proportion, but at the same time, I keep asking myself whether I am being played for a fool. A story from Amazings.
The OP seems so open-minded about her husband's online habits, so it must feel like a gut punch to find that suspicious comment. She is clearly trying to trust him, but her worry is eating at her. Her feelings deserve validation, and hopefully, they can clear the air with honest communication.
Maybe the OP's husband accidentally scrolled past that post and tapped the keyboard? Glitch or not, a single period is pretty random. Honestly though, hacking into an account just to post a dot is ridiculous. Still, you have to wonder if there is more going on, or if it really is harmless.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine the OP's face when she discovered that random comment? I would crack up at the idea of a glitch that tossed a period onto some steamy thread. It sounds like something from a wacky sitcom. But hey, definitely worth double-check if hubby is fibbing or not.
Call me nuts, but I find it hilarious that the so-called culprit is a single period. If you were going to do something sneaky, you would drop a more obvious comment, right? I wonder if the OP's husband is just unlucky. Or maybe he is bold enough to play innocent, after a real slip.
Cancelled my mom's farewell after a messy blow-up. Am I overreacting? I had planned a sweet surprise farewell dinner for my mom, who is a 59-year-old female, because she was about to head back to Latin America after living with me for close to 10 months. I am a 27-year-old female, and I work a lot, so even though we technically shared my room, I was usually gone 2 or 3 nights a week. Honestly, we have never been super close, but I wanted to make her happy and show some appreciation. She made big sacrifices for me in the past, so I felt it was only fair to support her now. The whole plan was simple. Trick her into thinking we were going shopping, then meet up with family and friends at a restaurant for an aperitif. But just when I was excitedly getting ready, sifting through clothes I had scattered around my bed, she started calling me arrogant for leaving a mess and refused to budge until I cleaned. I told her I would handle it afterward because I did not want to be late, but she kept poking me, saying I never actually follow through and that I acted stuck up, as if dressing nicely was some offense. I tried not to roll my eyes, but it got really heated, and I was practically in tears. I spilled the beans by telling her about the dinner, hoping she would realize she was being unfair. She told me she was not going. That was the last straw, so I canceled. Naturally, 15 minutes later, she miraculously changed her mind, but I was already too hurt, so I walked out to meet my boyfriend and left her at home. Now she and I are not talking, so Some folks are saying I took things too far. Others say I was right to set boundaries. I keep wondering if I should have just sucked it up, but that sting is still there, AITA or not. A story from Ben-Pierce 6730.
I think the OP poured her heart into creating a special surprise, only to have mom poke at old wounds, right before the big reveal. There is a lot of unspoken backstory here, which makes the disappointment feel extra heavy. Sometimes a soft apology can mend fences, but only when temper's calm.
Is it possible the mom just wanted to press the OP's buttons before something nice happened? Maybe out of habit? Could she have enjoyed seeing the OP's reaction escalate? People love labeling the mom as the villain, but maybe she was testing her daughter's patience. Sometimes drama exposes deeper family issues.
Okay, y'all, this is bananas. The OP tried to plan a classy send-off, but ended up stuck in a mother-daughter meltdown. That last-minute switch from mom sounds like a total mood swing. Honestly, can we get these two a sitcom? I'm seeing comedic gold in their bickering. Though, it must be maddening in real life.
I am not even sure who started the bigger mess, the OP or her mom. But if that was a preview of living dynamics, maybe the OP made the right call in canceling. Sure, it is dramatic, but maybe they both needed a wake-up call. Tough love, but it might clear the air.
He ditched his girlfriend for a toy, and now he is cooked. I have been watching my younger brother, a 21-year-old, toss aside a relationship that seemed destined for marriage, all because he got obsessed with an odd plan to boost his dopamine. For 3 years, he dated this sweet, loyal girlfriend who wanted a future of family and commitment. Even after he went on a retreat in Mexico and drunkenly kissed a random girl, I brushed it off as a silly slip. But things spiraled fast. He bragged about hooking up with a 55-year-old at the beach, then started ignoring his girlfriend's calls, ditching her for hours, and sneaking off to watch adult videos alone at night. Whenever I told him he was making a huge mistake, he dismissed me and insisted she was too devoted to ever leave him. He even planned a wild Dopamine-max mission with mushrooms, a brand new VR headset, and a pocket toy he named Martha. I warned him not to do it, but he took the mushrooms anyway, then answered a tearful call from his girlfriend, right as he was ready to indulge in his VR world. She cried for an hour, realized how disconnected he was, and ended things. Suddenly, he was the one sobbing, calling her mother, and planning to send letters in a desperate attempt to win her back. For 6 weeks, he clung to the belief that she would return, but she has moved on. Now I feel helpless, watching him mope around, refusing to accept that he might have ruined his best shot at real happiness. Every day I try to remind him that he once had it all, yet he tossed it aside for a fleeting fantasy. I can hardly believe he thought a pocket toy and a VR headset would be a better investment than a caring partner. If he ever pulls himself together, it might be too late. A story from Consistent Tale 1542.
I really feel for the OP, who poured genuine care into guiding that brother. His heartbreak is tough, and he probably needs gentle reminders that healing takes time. That girlfriend sounded like a treasure, and maybe this ordeal will help the brother wake up and forge a healthier path forward.
You gotta wonder if that girlfriend was actually the safe bet the brother never truly valued. The OP kept warning him, but he chose mushrooms and that pocket toy he named Martha. Maybe this fiasco is exactly what he needs to realize real love can vanish overnight. And that serves him right.
I cannot believe he named that toy Martha. That is so out there. The OP tried to set him straight, but the brother chased a wild fantasy with mushrooms and VR. Admittedly, this meltdown is comedic gold. That ex-girlfriend probably tossed her hands up and said bye.
Hold on. Could it be that the brother is just bored of normal life? Let him double down on this so-called dopamine max. The OP is trying to save him from heartbreak, but maybe a faceplant is what he needs. Sometimes rock bottom is the perfect launching pad for growth.
Am I a joke for heading home each night while my ex stays with our hospitalized son? I have been camped out at the hospital for over a week with my 7-year-old son, who is fighting pneumonia and had to get a chest tube inserted to drain the infection. Once he started improving, I decided to head home in the late evening while my ex-wife remained by his side. I returned by 6 or 6:30 in the morning, so I do not miss the doctor rounds or any procedures. My ex keeps insisting that a real parent would never leave, saying it is selfish to stay anywhere else when our child is so sick. I offered for her to go home and rest while I took the night shift. But she refuses, preferring to remain at the hospital. I guess she wants to operate on zero sleep, but I learned the hard way that if I do not take care of myself, I can barely function the next day. I am a bigger guy, and sleeping on those cramped hospital chairs was turning me into a zombie. Now that our boy is improving, we found a sort of routine. I stay with him most of the day, and then she takes a break in the afternoon. Even though she seems less edgy these days, she still tosses in sly comments about me stepping away overnight to rest at my girlfriend's place. But I remind myself that this arrangement works best for our child. He needs me calm, focused, and fully present, and that is not possible when I can barely keep my eyes open. My son should have his chest tube removed tomorrow, and he is finally fever-free. I feel thankful for that. I am done letting her guilt trips get to me. I know I am here for my kid in every way that matters. A story from Lucy Aria Rose.
I feel the OP is giving his son the strongest possible care by balancing rest with hospital time. He sounds like a father devoted to his boy's every need, even if his ex-wife does not quite approve. I applaud this healthy approach to caregiving.
I wonder if the ex-wife just wants to hog the spotlight. Maybe she is enjoying being the saintly parent. I challenge you to consider whether the OP might be leading with logic, while the ex runs on drama. After all, sometimes people stir guilt to claim the moral high ground.
I cannot stop giggling at how the ex is acting like some overnight hero, refusing to let the OP be the rested champion of fatherhood. The hospital bed is no five-star resort. I love how the OP snags a real snooze, so he can be super dad by day.
I still support the OP's choice. I think it is hilarious that the ex might resent him for grabbing useful rest. Maybe she craves martyr status or some moral victory. If so, that is on her. I am all about stirring the pot until everyone faces the real motives.
Everyone thinks I am grieving my sister, but I am not. After losing my sister last year, in a drunk driver incident. I know, so tragic. Everyone assumed I was devastated. My sister was everyone's absolute favorite. She was 24, golden-haired, and so sweet in public. At her funeral, I delivered this supposedly moving eulogy. And people kept hugging me and praising my bravery. But no one realized how I really felt. Truth is, I never missed her. In fact, I felt free, like a huge weight was lifted off my chest. She used to torment me behind closed doors, mocking my appearance and calling me foolish, while pretending to be an angel around everyone else. She even weaponized my deepest fear and laughed as she revealed it to people I admired. I learned to keep my mouth shut, because nobody believed me. Now that she is gone, I am expected to act crushed, and yet I feel relief. It makes me wonder if I am heartless. Maybe I am a jerk, but I also know how painful it was living under her shadow. The quiet now feels like a gift. When I read messages from others who can relate to losing a toxic person, it reassures me that I am not alone. I truly appreciate their kindness. It helps me feel less guilty that I do not wish she was still here. Instead of burying my relief, I am slowly accepting it. Other people might think I am messed up, but I am done faking grief for someone who tormented me. I even thanked everyone for their support, because it genuinely helps. The more I open up, the more comfortable I feel in admitting that I do not miss her at all. And honestly, that slight sense of freedom is what I needed most. A story from Effective-Bag-576.
It sounds like the OP endured a tough secret for so long. All that hidden hurt building up behind closed doors. My heart aches for the loneliness they must have felt, especially when others did not believe them. I hope they find peace and know their feelings are valid.
I wonder if the sister was just misunderstood. Maybe the OP is oversensitive, seeing insults where harmless jokes lived. Sure, the sister's behavior was shady, but was it truly that awful? People say mean stuff all the time. Perhaps the OP never learned how to clap back properly.
Girl, the OP has every right to pop off with the real tea. That sister sounded like an arch-villain behind the scenes. I mean, who threatens to wear red at someone's funeral? That is savage. But hey, at least the OP can breathe now without all that toxic sibling drama.
I will stir this pot. Maybe the OP is relishing this freedom a bit too much. Sure, the sister sounded like a bully, but not missing someone at all? That is a bold claim. Makes me wonder if there is more to this story, or if the OP is exaggerating.
Girlfriend viscerally hates my female friend. Can we fix this? I have been with my girlfriend for over 2 years. In the beginning, she was living with abusive parents and was in a terrible emotional state, which led to her mistreating me with belittling words and controlling actions. After 6 rocky months, I ended things and confided in a close friend named Anne, who I have known for 10 years. Anne was the one who propped me back up and reminded me that I deserved better. A few months later, my girlfriend apologized, promised real change, and started going to therapy. We gradually got back together, and while it was not always smooth sailing, her improvements seemed legit. The catch is that Anne remains politely distant from my girlfriend, which absolutely grates on my girlfriend's nerves. My girlfriend cannot handle the fact that Anne only invites her to group hangouts once in a blue moon, and she interprets Anne's neutrality as a personal snub. Lately, Anne's father passed away, and I felt compelled to spend more time offering her support. That prompted a fresh wave of arguments with my girlfriend, who keeps telling me she understands Anne's grief but insists I reduce contact as soon as Anne recovers. She wants me to meet Anne only every few months. The tension escalated to the point that my girlfriend issued a virtual ultimatum. Either I limit my closeness with Anne or face her wrath. Now I am trying to figure out if there is a way to mend fences between them, or if I am stuck choosing sides. I truly do not want to lose my best friend or sabotage my relationship with my girlfriend, but her fury over Anne's guarded demeanor is pushing me to the edge, and I do not see an easy compromise. A story from Throw a Public 8536.
I sense the OP's anxiety and see that his girlfriend is hanging on to old hurts, especially when she feels excluded. I recognize Anne's reserve could be linked to past pain. Maybe gentle conversations and open hearts can help everyone talk things out honestly.
I might say it is hilarious how the OP's girlfriend cannot stomach Anne's chill attitude. What if Anne is just marking her boundaries? Or maybe she secretly resents the girlfriend, trying to snap her fingers and rewrite history. Is the girlfriend overreacting? Or does the OP need to pick a lane?
I would crack jokes about how the OP is basically stuck in a soap opera, with the girlfriend demanding that schedule for hangouts while Anne is off grieving. Everyone should chill, maybe share a funny meme, and realize this drama is slightly overblown.
I would relish stirring the pot again. Maybe Anne is testing the OP's devotion by restricting how she interacts with his girlfriend. Or the girlfriend suspects Anne wants him all to herself. Sometimes a bigger confrontation is exactly what everyone needs.
I'm 34-year-old on the brink of leaving my 34-year-old husband because he won't start a family. I am a 34-year-old female, and my husband is also a 34-year-old male. We met when we were 25 and got married at 28, so we had been together nearly 9 years. All this time, I have yearned for a family, yet he has barely tried to get me pregnant. He has only finished inside me a few times in the last few months, and I am not pregnant. My period just ended. I feel frustrated that I am supposed to constantly beg for something he claims to want, too. His snoring at night drives me up the wall, and I am already dreading cooking for him because every little thing he does grates on my nerves these days. I cannot help but daydream about my coworker, who is 37 and happily trying for baby number 3 with his wife. I picture myself in her place, sharing that excitement, and it just makes my own marriage feel even more stale. I do understand my husband's worry about my driving anxiety, especially because our offices share the same strip mall and our schedules line up, but I keep thinking that he should still be more motivated to start a family with me. When I speak up and ask him about it, he unleashes on me for an hour or two, while I sit there, staring at the painting on our wall, trying not to break down in tears. I wish someone could tell he that I am on the verge of snapping and divorcing him over all this. We are both in our mid-30s, so I do not see how he can act so hopelessly unready, yet continue to promise that he wants kids. I am tired of feeling like I married a perpetual teenager, one who says all the right words, but never truly follows through. A story from I Am Sailor Pluto.
I see the OP's heartbreak loud and clear. She is not just resentful, but grieving the dream of a real family life. He needs a wake-up call, real soon. If he keeps sidestepping the issue, he could lose someone who genuinely wants a future with him.
I wonder if the OP's husband might be throwing shade just to dodge the family bullet. Maybe he is dragging his feet because he is scared. All that yelling? Classic deflection. If you ask me, he is playing a risky game. He better step up or watch the marriage crumble.
I crack up over the perpetual teen routine. I picture him stomping around like some moody teenager. Girl, if he is so freaked out by grown-up stuff, maybe he should not have tied the knot. Toss him some diapers and a rattle. See if that shakes him up.
I swear this is a standoff. The OP's husband claims he wants kids, but the evidence is shaky. Could he be hiding a bigger fear? Or is he just plain indifferent? Playing teenager in your mid-30s is a dangerous move. He is floating with losing that marriage, for sure.
I asked my girlfriend why intimacy has been off limits. Did I overstep? So, here is what happened. For about 2 weeks, my girlfriend and I had not really been intimate. Today, she said no again, and I decided to ask if there was any reason behind it. I tried to pose the question gently, but she insisted she does not owe me any explanation, which I fully respect. I only wanted to know if there was something bothering her, or if I should worry about our relationship. Then, she told me my question felt like it was against consent, which startled me, because that was never my intention. When she says no, I always stop. We ended up bickering about it, because I felt misunderstood and she felt cornered. Later, we cooled down and talked again. Turns out, school exams and her personal family issues have been weighing on her. That stress made her uncomfortable when I asked immediately after she refused intimacy, which I get now. She apologized for her wording, I apologized for the timing of my question, and we both realized it was a simple misunderstanding that ballooned. I know a few people said we should just break up, but to me, that is too drastic. Relationships have highs and lows. And this was just one of those dip moments. We are doing better now, and we have decided to communicate more openly, without rushing any sensitive questions. In the end, I learned that timing is everything, and talking about things when tempers are calm can keep a small question from becoming a massive fight. I am leaving this behind us, feeling relieved it all worked out in the end. A story from Hot-Expert 901.
I feel for the OP. His curiosity was genuine, but misunderstandings happen so easily. She probably felt cornered when she had to explain herself. It is good they cleared the air. Recognizing her stress is the first step in rebuilding trust. Hope these two keep talking and ensure each other's comfort.
Alright, so the OP asked a question at the wrong time. So what? Maybe the girlfriend overreacted. Or maybe the OP needs to read the room better. Stirring the pot is not always bad. It got them talking. Sometimes a little conflict turns up truths a cozy couple tries to ignore.
Oh my gosh, talk about drama. The OP meant well, but he misfired with the timing. She got upset, he got flustered, and then bam! Spicy argument. They still sorted it out in the end, which is hilarious if you think about how quick it all escalated. Communication saves the day.
Let me flip this around. Maybe the OP was just too honest. Why can't a person ask for a reason without crossing a line? People jump to the worst conclusion. The so-called villain might just be a curious guy. Either way, they ended up stronger, which kind of proves them right.
My fiancé's split-second turn stole a year of my life, maybe more. I am a 26-year-old woman whose life flipped upside down the moment my fiancé, who is 30, chose to turn on a blinking yellow light after I begged him to wait. We were T-boned at about 50 miles per hour, and I suffered 2 pelvis breaks, spinal fractures, and a cracked sternum. His 5-year-old son escaped injury, but I got stuck with a year, possibly more, of grueling rehabilitation. In the hospital, they gave me a large back brace and expected me to shuffle around despite excruciating pain. I am furious because my fiancé admits he ignored my warning, yet can only say, I do not know when asked why. I am now reliant on others to do basic tasks and grieving all the progress I had been making with my fitness, college goals, and therapy for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I was building a solid routine and proud of my efforts, and then this crash happened. Although he shows support, it does not erase the reality that this horrible decision cost me a massive chunk of my life. I just want my independence back, to step outside without dread, and to know this horrifying ordeal will not define me forever. A story from AK Hayes 101.
The OP has lost so much. She worked so hard to rebuild her life, and now she is struggling for every step. It is heartbreaking that her warning was ignored, leaving her feeling helpless and betrayed. She deserves the time and space to grieve that loss. With gentle compassion, she can heal her heart and rediscover her inner resilience.
You can blame the fiancé for ignoring her plea, but there is something fascinating in that split-second choice. Maybe he sensed her fear, or maybe he just felt lucky. Sure, he messed up. Still, part of you wonders if the OP could have shouted louder. It is a messy situation, and stirring the pot might reveal layers they both need to examine.
Even when life grinds to a halt, new chances for growth can still blossom. The OP and her fiancé could transform their pain into a moment of togetherness, bonded by compassion. Each day of her recovery is a step toward renewed hope. If they lean on understanding and forgiveness, this chapter may spark deeper love and fresh starts for them both.
Alright, so you are ready to toss the fiancé under the bus. But ask yourself why she gave that warning without real weight behind it. He is at fault, sure, but is there more to this dynamic than one reckless move? If the OP and fiancé address their communication gaps, maybe stronger teamwork could emerge from this painful wake-up call.